Hello, mabuhay! This is Teacher Lourdes, and this is your course, Science, Technology, and Society. Our lesson 6 is The Good Life. Our objectives are explain the philosophical and social foundations of the good life and how various thinkers like Aristotle, Epicurus, and modern humanists interpreted human happiness and flourishing. In analyze the influence of science, technology, and society on shaping people's understanding and pursuit of the good life, and evaluate sustainable and ethical pathways to achieving the good life in the context of contemporary global challenges. Which of the following is a good life for you? A. A relaxing weekend, buying your dream phone, and eating your favorite food. B. Graduating with honors, getting your dream job, and winning a competition. Or C. Helping a friend in need, spending meaningful time with family, and contributing to the community. If you choose A. Pleasure and comfort, you are having hedonism or Epicureanism belief. If you choose B, achievement and success, you believe in eudaimonia or Aristotelian flourishing. And if you choose C, meaning and relationships, you believe in existentialist or meaning centered perspectives. If you choose all of this, you are a very mind, someone who has goals and you have lots of perspectives in your life and that you want to have a meaningful and a full life. But I have to ask, why might this be a part of a good life? Is this really essential or just nice to have? Can someone have a good life without this? Why or why not? You can write your answers in the comment section below. Now let's have the lesson proper. The good life. So what is the good life? The concept of the good life explores what it means for individuals to live meaningfully, ethically, and in harmony with others and the world around them. Rooted in philosophical traditions, especially Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia or human flourishing, the good life goes beyond material wealth and temporary pleasures. It emphasizes long term well being, the pursuit of virtues, and the cultivation of habits that lead to personal growth and fulfillment. In the context of human society, the good life involves finding balance between work and rest, desire and responsibility, self interest, and the common good. So, as you can see, Aristotle's idea of the good life is very inspirational, it's very ideal. In the modern world, science and technology play a significant role in shaping our understanding and the pursuit of the good life. Innovations in medicine, communication, transportation, and education have improved living conditions and extended life expectancy and opened new opportunities for learning and connection. However, these same technological advancements also pose challenges. Overconsumption, digital dependency, environmental degradation, and widening social inequalities reveal that technology alone cannot guarantee a good life. Instead, people must critically evaluate how technology influences their values, relationships, and daily choices to ensure that it enhances rather than diminishing our well being. So ultimately, the good life is achieved through wise and responsible use of knowledge empowered by moral virtues. It requires individuals and societies to reflect on what truly matters, to cultivate character, and to use science and technology for the benefit of humanity, not at its expense. By grounding progress in ethical principles, Communities can create conditions where human flourishing becomes possible for everyone. This understanding encourages students to see that the good life is not just a personal journey, but a collective responsibility shaped by thoughtful actions, sustainable practices, and compassion towards others. So, the good life is every human being truly aspires to live a good life. The problem is we all define the phrase good life differently. So a good life for me may be different from a good life for you. Some are looking to live an honest life full of integrity, joy, and happiness. Others seek wealth, social status, and fame as they hope these aspects will help them to live the good life. In fact, they directly associate the good life with money and material belongings. So, one good example of this is the current issue of about the corruption in the Philippines. So, as you can see, and as we can learn from social media and from the television, that the politicians have amassed billions and billions of pesos, which sustain their lifestyle, um, and they have become greedy with money and with social status, that they utilize the funds from the taxes of the people. So uh, we can all agree that this is an evil work, because that is corruption, and at the expense of the taxes of the normal Filipino people. uh, these politicians uh, have gained a good life for themselves at the expense of the poor Filipinos who are living in poverty. But can a poor person have a good life? It depends on your perspective. If you are poor but you have God and peace in your heart, you are living a good life. So it depends upon a person's definition of a good life. Because some people may be rich, and some people may have everything they wanted, money and big houses and lots of money, and they can travel anywhere, they can eat anything. But if they don't have peace in their heart, if they don't have Jesus in their heart, if they don't have God and kindness and the virtues of humility and other virtues, they do not peace, they will not have a good life. Okay, so that's my take on the good life, because having a good life is subjective, but generally, if a person doesn't have peace and is not contented with his life, he has no good life. So, relating this topic to human flourishing, our previous topic, we have the perspective, and these are when you have perspective, you have purpose, values, mindfulness, savoring, gratitude, and optimism. So, if there is human flourishing, the people are supportive, the relationship, and the interconnectedness, compassion, community, and contribution. And the people on power have engaged living, personal growth, flow experiences, self compassion, exercise, and meditation. So the power is you have the power to control uh, your life, wherein there is growth, there is positive experiences, compassion, and healthy exercises and healthy practices. So these are the foundational principles in positive psychology. So looking at this image, we can see that nature and technology have have come together to provide good life for these people. So, human flourishing in the context of foundational principles in positive psychology, of course, include these concepts. So, uh, now we have the domains of human flourishing. It includes happiness and life satisfaction, physical and mental health, meaning and purpose, character and virtue, and close social relationships. So these are the domains of human flourishing. Throughout history, people have asked the same essential question: what does it mean to live the good life? In classical philosophy, Aristotle described the good life as eudaimonia, as we have already discussed in the last lesson, a state of flourishing achieved through virtue, wisdom, and meaningful action. Meanwhile, Epicurus believed that a good life meant simple pleasures, freedom from fear, and a life of moderation. Okay. So, uh, and a life of moderation. Okay. So, health, nutrition, exercises. This is prevention, medical care. Today, however, technology is helping expand this idea into a more holistic concept known as well-being, which includes mental, emotional, social, and even digital dimensions of health. One of the most transformative technologies in this shift is artificial intelligence. AI-powered applications can now monitor health trends, detect early signs of illness, and provide personalized lifestyle recommendations. For example, wearable devices with AI algorithms can track heart rate, sleep patterns, and physical activity, offering real time feedback that helps individuals make informed decisions about their health. This turns wellness from a reactive practice into a proactive and continuous process. And AI is also transforming mental and emotional well being. Intelligent chatbots and counseling platforms can provide immediate emotional support, stress tracking, guided meditation, and cognitive behavioral therapy exercises. So, I have seen in Facebook that some girl married an AI. So, maybe because she found care and mental support and emotional support from the AI she has been chatting with for a long time, and she married the AI because maybe she did not found a suitable human for her, but instead the artificial intelligence has been there for her. That's why she decided to marry the artificial intelligence. So these tools help individuals manage anxiety, cope with life challenges, and develop resilience, elements that go beyond physical wellness. Additionally, AI contributes to social and environmental well being by improving access to healthcare. Telemedicine, intelligent scheduling systems, and AI diagnostics help underserved communities receive quality health services, reducing barriers to distance, cost, or lack of specialists. Overall, technology, especially artificial intelligence, elevates wellness into a more comprehensive concept of well-being. By integrating physical, mental, social, and emotional dimensions, artificial intelligence empowers individuals to live healthier, more balanced, and more fulfilling lives in an increasingly digital world. So this is technology ethics. So there must be a balance between all of this. So science and technology have transformed how humanity pursues the good life. There are advances in medicine, communication, infrastructure, and education, and it has all of this have elevated the quality of life in ways unimaginable centuries ago. Because centuries ago, uh, before the emergence of uh, the digital age, and before the emergence of the industrial age, the quality of life may seem very different from what we have now, because then there was no light, no electricity, and there was no internet, and houses are not as sturdy as now, and the roads and the transportation are still not available. So you can just imagine how different our life today is compared to the life of the people centuries ago. So it is very different because today we all depend on technology in our everyday in everyday processes, because the moment we wake up in the morning, we have mobile phones, we have television, and we cook in a gas range or automatic cookers. But before, people must hunt for their food, or uh, they must travel long distances only to get to somewhere using barefoot. And now we have vehicles, every imaginable vehicle. And today, Japan is already developing flying cars. So it's very different. Yeah, you can only imagine how people lived centuries ago. So, however, technology also raises questions. Does convenience equate to happiness? Does innovation always lead to human flourishing? How do we balance technological progress with ethical responsibility? In the 21st century, the good life increasingly requires digital literacy, responsible consumption, and conscious technological engagement. Students must learn to evaluate the effects of innovations on personal well being, social relationships, ecological sustainability, and moral decision making. So now let's us have social dimension, community justice and sustainability. So in our world, today every race and community strives for equality and social justice, so represented by this differently colored from all races in our world. So looking at this illustration, we can see that there are people collaborating, and there are words here: give and volunteer and charity and donate and sharing. So all of these icons represent the human heart to help other people who are in need. So the good life is not purely individual, it is deeply social. So because nobody is an island, we cannot live alone. We always have someone and some people to have in our lives. A society that promotes human flourishing provides justice and equality, access to education and healthcare, peace, order, and stable institutions, environmental sustainability. Sustainable development highlights the importance of balancing people, planet, and prosperity. This means pursuing a good life that does not harm future generations. Filipino indigenous communities also teach kapwa and bayanihan, emphasizing shared identity and collective well-being. Key Filipino contributions to global understandings of a meaningful life. Yes, as Filipinos, we are proud of these traditions, bayanihan. We are always ready to help people, even we don't know them. We can help strangers anytime. Contemporary challenges in pursuit of the good life. So, contemporary challenges in the pursuit of the good life arise from the rapid changes brought about by modern society, technology, and global issues. While innovations offer convenience and opportunities, they also create pressures such as digital overload, social media comparison, and a fast-paced lifestyle that can lead to stress and reduced well-being. Environmental degradation, climate change, economic inequality, and health crisis further complicate people's ability to live meaningful, secure, and balanced lives. As individuals navigate these challenges, they must learn to make mindful choices, develop resilience, and use technology responsibly. Achieving the good life today requires not only personal effort but also collective action to build a more just, sustainable, and compassionate society. So, today we have advanced technology, but also advanced problems. And in this society today, suicide and mental health issues are rampant, and there are more young people who commit suicide because they cannot cope with the problems in the society. So we must be mindful of what we say, be kind, and because we don't know that some people they are going through some difficult time, so we must be compassionate. And also our environment are also having problems, The global warming and climate change pose danger to our life, but of course, we are doing some things to contribute to solving the problems of our environment. Okay, and on social media. Social media has been the life of people in this generation uh, since the development of internet and computer and uh, mobile devices. Social media has been an everyday companion for many of us, and we should be mindful. We should be critical in posting. We should be critical in replying to people online because not everyone has a good heart. Some people are scammers, and some people don't deserve your time. So, modern life presents obstacles that complicate the quest for well being. Climate change and environmental degradation, stress, burnout, and mental health concerns, disinformation and digital addiction, economic inequality. These issues require critical thinking, as I have said, ethical awareness, and active citizenship. Students are invited to reflect on how they can contribute to a society where everyone can strive toward the good life. Okay. So let's look at this. Uh, let's look at this. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this image illustration about global warming and climate change. This issue is very uh, important that we know about this because all of us are affected. This includes tornadoes, forest fires, and other climate disasters, and eruption, tsunami, deglaciation, so glaciers are melting, and drought, and also landslide. So these calamities have taken lives over the years, and we must do our part to solve, at least help in solving this by reducing, reusing, and recycling, and tree planting, and creating sustainable solutions for these calamities and disasters. So I hope you learned something from our lesson about the good life. So for your student activity, you will have a performance task called my blueprint for the good life. So you will create a one-page illustrated personal blueprint that answer the question, what does the good life mean to me as a member of the society influenced by science and technology? Your blueprint must include a clear definition of your personal concept of the good life, the three major pillars including health, your purpose, your relationships, and sustainability, and responsible use of technology. Include images, symbols, or drawings to show how these pillars guide your decisions, and a short reflection of 150 to 200 words explaining how science and technology influence your vision of the good life and how your choices contribute to society's well-being and sustainability. Okay? Uh, Pass this output in hard copy within 3 days. And this is the rubric for your output. So, part two, we will have a debate activity in our classroom. Okay? We will have a debate about the good life. Okay? So, this debate will have also 50 points. So, these are my references. Thank you so much for my references. So, I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a good life, and I hope you have faith and prayer to our God, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, and I hope you have a good life. Okay? So this is Teacher Lourdes saying, mabuhay.